Okay, so what this video is about, of course, if you couldn't tell by the title, is the Ruger LC Carbine. I was going to buy one of these other models, I think it's MechTech or something like that, that converts your model 1911 or other pistol types to a carbine. I saw that, I thought it was pretty nifty, and so I was going to give it a try. But I looked at, you know, buying the, and this is not bashing any brands, this is not promoting any brands, this is just the decision I made, my thought process. After putting all the attachments and things like that on the MechTech, it was around, I don't know, $650 to $750. I happened to see a video on YouTube of the Ruger LC Carbine. For $100 more, it came what looked like pretty dressed up, or had, you know, all the Picatinis and M-locks and things like that. So instead of tying up one of my handguns, I thought, well, yeah, I could convert it, but for just $100 more, I would have actually two separate guns. So I went ahead and I ordered the Ruger LC Carbine, and I got it. And this isn't going to be you know, my, how would you say, you know, unwrapping of the LC Carbine. This is going to be velocities and how I'm going to reload my rounds to achieve my goal. And that goal is to have a subsonic round going as fast as I can, around just under 1100 feet per second. So this is going to be about the velocities from two different handguns, one model 1911, one XD, and the Ruger carbine. I've seen a lot of questions about, hey, what's the velocity of a carbine? I got a 16-inch barrel. Can I load slower powder, make it go faster? And those are good questions. And that's exactly the questions I had when I decided to get the LC carbine. So this is what I went through, how I came up with the loads, the trials and trials and errors that I came across, and hopefully this is gonna you know, give other people a little bit of information, because I haven't seen any answers about it. You know, everybody gives their, and not just opinion, they're very informed opinions. Hey, yeah, of course, you can load a more powder, slower burning, things like that. They all say you can do it, makes sense. But I haven't seen anybody do it. I haven't seen any numbers. I haven't seen any shootings. Nothing. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, is go out and try some of the second batch of rounds that I loaded with different powders. I was a little hard to get the powders I wanted. I did get about 3, and I'll go over those on paper when I'm done shooting today, and show you what I did, show you what I came up with, what powders I ended up with, and we'll see how it goes. So I'm a little excited. I don't have high hopes because of the bad numbers I got the first time around. I'm more open-minded right now. It's not going to go exactly how I planned in my head, but I think I'm going to be closer this time around. So we'll find out, and hopefully I don't have any more disasters like what's behind me right now. Okay, 2 rounds. Target and Practice Winchester. 230 grains. First one's going through a Springfield Armory 3.3 XD. $783. I'm only shooting 2 rounds each. Next 2 are through a Kimber, 1911. $867. $828. We're going to try 2 not suppressed and 2 suppressed. Woo! 928. This is no suppressor. Next round. 984. Wow, that's quite the difference. All right, suppressed. Oh, go figure. 999. That don't make sense. 1,004. I wasn't expecting that. All right, let's repeat. 230 grain round nose, full metal jacket. Target and practice, Winchester. No suppressor. $991. $988. Two more. Okay, so the last two didn't get on camera. It was 1014 with a suppressor and 992. All right. So next, we're going to do jacketed hollow point Winchester 230 grain. These are self-defense. Let's see if they're any faster. Again, we're going to start with the Springfield XD. I will do 3 rounds through each. 1 second. Okay. Springfield Armory. We're going to do 3 rounds. Hollow point. $9.92. $7.44. That's a little off. $7.38. That first one was $7.92. Sorry. $7.38. Same ones through the 1911. $7.38. $7.38 and doesn't like those. There's no way it hit 738 3 times. I think that is not reading. Let's try a different round and see if I get a different measurement. Ooh. Go for the target round. $8.44. So that was 738 3 times in a row. No way. All right. Now we'll do the unsuppressed. Unsuppressed. Hollow points. $9.78. $1,012. $9.62. Rounds. Jacketed hollow points. It's through the suppressor. Let's see if this goes faster. 988. 968. 963. That is strange. I'd like to get some more data on the suppressed. $963. Wow. There's no way. That's a bad reading. It didn't pick that up. Let's try one more. It's not working. That 963 was my last. Yeah. Okay. Not enough daylight, I think.
There's no safety. Okay. Is it single action?
All right, let's try it with the 1911 then.
They don't fit terrible.
801.
I got that same 1911. I got that.
Oh, you got the same one?
The exact same, yeah.
Error.
Mostly like that.
811.
Just slightly to the right. It's not terrible.
Now through the carbine. With suppressor first. $900. $915. Next is the carbine. I did accurate number 5, 6.6 grains. It's way over max, so I suspect this is going to be a much slower bullet. 3 rounds. $852. $852. 230 grain. Full metal jacket. $818. Smells different too. $852. So that's about the pistol speed. They did 980 or 894, 982, 965, 957, and 967. The 8.4 grains of accurate number 5 did 1,022, 1,032, 1,033, 1,041, and 1,054. Now here comes 6.5 grains, 5 rounds, 50 yards. $943. well above the book of 750.
Oh, you're lefty. I couldn't hit.
$942. $973. It's a chronograph.
Measuring the velocity?
Measuring the velocity. I'm shooting, trying to do loads that go about 20 feet below the speed of sound so there's no crack. That's why it's so quiet, it's just below the speed of sound. $951. $913. All right, this is accurate, or long shot, 6.8 grains, sorry, 5 rounds. $973. Not a whole lot of difference. $984. Thousand feet. 1,004. Last one. $986. Right. Grains. Woo! 1,071. All right, had to check the case. Case looks good. 1092.
Well, you need a screwdriver to adjust it inside of it. Oh, are they hard cap or rubber? Oh, yeah. That's pretty neat.
1085.
Screwdriver.
Oh, that cracked. 1090, it's over the speed.
You like it? You like it?
1104. Alright, so definitely hypersonic, and I do not want that load. Now just for fun, I'm going to do a 185 grain bullet. Let's see what speed they're going. 8.5 grains of long shot. Should hit on a pistol 5.5-inch barrel, 925 feet per second. We'll see what it does out of the 16-inch barrel. Now these are going to crack because these are going to go fast. $12.67.
No, I don't think you hit it up. He wants that.
$1300s.
I'll try to watch where it hits, right? I'm looking just look.
Okay, yes, I know, that was pretty lame. Alright, so let's put some numbers up here. Let's start with the Winchester target practice round, and let me pull these up on the screen, we'll take a look at it. Alright, so let's take a look at the XD. I got a, I believe mine is the XD 3.3 inch. I know they have a 4-inch. I am not home, I don't have the gun in hand. I put the 4 there just in case, you know. It is what it is. So it did 744 feet per second, 738 feet per second,
The 1911 with a 5-inch barrel did 867 and 828. The LC Carbine did 928, 984, 991, 988. Now, as you can see, I went back and I did 2 more rounds out of the LC with and without the suppressor. The reason I did that is the suppressor gave me higher readings, not by an enormous amount, but it was significant. It was measurable. So I have seen that happen. I kind of understand what it's doing with the barrel pressures, from the resistance of the escaping air. So the suppressed did 999, 1004, 1014, and 992. We're going to go ahead and we'll look at that, what happens to that at the end of this video on the software I have. Okay, up next we have the Winchester Jacketed Hollow Point. This is a 230 grain hollow point. It is a factory load. For the XD, the 3.3 inch barrel did 744 and 738 feet per second. That is actually down 30 to 50 feet per second over the target rounds. The 1911, I did not get those 3. You saw that in the video. Just happened to be that chronograph is touchy, especially when it's in the shade. The carbine, it did, 978, 1012, 962. And for the suppressor, it did 988, 968, 963. As you can see, those two, with and without the suppressor on this round, did about the exact same speed. They all fall in line with each other, have that 1012 in there. But with the target rounds, the suppressor did a measurable amount faster. Those target rounds, they use a very small amount of a very fast burning powder. And when you have any kind of changes in bullet depth, back pressure, anything like that, you're going to see a spike in pressure. And I will show you how that works in a software program. But this slower burning powder in these hollow points, it slowed down the shorter barrel, and it kept the same speed with and without the suppressor on the longer barrel. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about these loads that I had loaded myself. I used accurate number 5, and I used longshot. Now, I did have some accurate number 2, but that powder is just awful to run through your powder measure. Those were the 3 powders I had got. So it was accurate number 2, accurate number 5, and longshot. And longshot actually came out much better. The accurate number 5 was awful burning. Its fumes were different. The longshot seemed to be cleaner, and I got what I felt was pretty good consistency in velocities. So for the accurate number 5, I did 6.6 grains. It did 852, 818, 852, and then I had 2 readings that I didn't get on camera that I didn't get a measurement for. For the 7.9 grains, I did 894, 982, 965, 957, and 967. So that 1.3 grains jumped it up quite a bit. That 6.6 was way below. I just wanted to do one to see if I got something close to the book so I could know to proceed up to the 7.9. And then the 8.4 gave me 1,022, 1,042, 1,033, 1,041, and 1,032. Very close numbers. I liked it. Again, that's what I ended up loading about 100 rounds with to do some target shooting. We're going to go ahead. I'll get a video of that. I want to see what's going to be more accurate. When I dropped down to the long shot here, I started with 6.5 grains. It gave me 943, 942, 973, 951, and 913. Not too far apart. Again, I liked the burn on this. The fumes, it smelled different. It wasn't as gassy. The 6.8 grains gave me 973, 984, 973, 1,004, and 986, just below 1,000 foot mark. Now the 7.4 grains gave me a much bigger jump. It then put me up to 1,072, 1,092, 1,085, 1,090, and 1,104. That is with a 230 grain bullet. We will look at the barrel pressures on that. That was, all of those cracked. So I'm going to go ahead and load up about another 50 rounds of 7.2 grains at the long shot, and I'm going to compare it to the 8.4 grains of the accurate number 5. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and take a peek at the 185 real quick. Okay, so here's the Hornady FTX 185 grain bullet. This is going to be my hypersonic or supersonic hunting round that I still will use the suppressor on it. Now, out of the 1911, I believe the book says he's going to be around 950 feet per second. I believe that's going to be, that sounds about right. I'm going to double check it. But out of this carbine, it did 1267, 1325, 1298. They were way, way faster. So we're going to look at the foot-pounds of this. That wasn't even the limit to that load. I'm going to try a slower powder and a lot more of it, and see if I can't utilize the whole 16.25 inch barrel. Well, not the whole thing, but use a little bit more barrel on this. And of course I will, if I was to shoot those out of the pistol, the speeds would drop way down significantly below any of these factory rounds out of the shorter guns. But that's what I got with the 185 grain, and now I'm going to pull up that program. We'll go ahead and look at some of this. It's a program, and I had to make my pointer here large enough so you guys could see it. So this is set to 45 ACP. The bullet we have here is a Hornady full metal jacket round nose. I set the barrel length to 3.3, which is the barrel length of the XD that I'm shooting. And down here, this is a common powder I use, tight group. It's a very, very fine powder. It's very fast burning. It uses a very small amount. So I have here set to 4 grains, and it will show you increments of 0.2 grains. So there is 3.8, 3.6, 3.4, 3.2, and there's 4 grains. The 4 grains would give you measured or hypothetical muzzle velocity of about 660 feet per second. Now 4 grains is low. I use anywhere from 4.5 to 5 grains. And so it's showing out of this 3-inch barrel. You would expect, let's go ahead and move this to 4.5 grains. All right, so that will put you approximately 713 feet per second out of a 3.3-inch barrel. Now, if I was to put this to the 5-inch barrel of the 1911 I have, the barrel pressures do not go up, but the feet per second jumped 80 feet per second. All right, so the right here is about 0.9, I'd say about 0.9 inches is peak pressure of barrel movement, bullet movement, and the peak pressure is about 0.9 inches. So let's go ahead and go back, and we'll pull up one of these that I loaded. I didn't do any hand loads on the smaller guns. But if I was to now put this to a 16.25 inch barrel, let's just say that they're using in those target rounds about 4.6. Let's try that. All right, so that's about 800 feet per second out of a 5-inch barrel. And that is 723 out of a 3.3-inch barrel. If I was to switch that to the 16.25 inch barrel, what will we get in feet per second? And lo and behold, about 954. That's exactly the range we were getting on the Ruger. And you can see the peak pressure remained the same, 0.9 inches. All the way out here to the 16-inch, we still have a pressure, 478 PSI. That reflects what we got on the range and the ones I measured. Now let's go ahead and do a load that I actually weighed out. So let's do, oh, let me show you something really quick. If you can look here, you can see that the seating depth is 0.25 inches. Just to give you an example on these fast burning powders, let's roll this back to a 5-inch barrel. If you were to seat it, say, 5 hundredths more, let's go to 0.3, 5 hundredths more. Now you're up in there into the plus P. You've jumped 2,000, 3,000 PSI. So any kind of back pressure on these fast burning powders really, really increases the speed and the barrel pressures you see. So that's one thing about these autos. If you've got an auto, 1911, I don't care, any other auto weapon, get a good crimp, because if you drop that bullet or if it goes up and you push that bullet into the case a small amount, this could be the difference between, you know, blowing up in your hand and not. So that's something I just keep an eye on. You guys do it your way. So let's move over to, let's put this on the 16-inch barrel, 16 1/4. Let's go down to the powder. I did accurate number 5. So let's bring this up to accurate number 5. And I did a 6.6 grains. All right. Now, it was a 230 grain bullet. This one did not do what I expected. It's showing that I should have had 1,061 feet per second. I ended up with about 850 feet per second. That is a significant difference. Now, I noticed on all my other loads I do, this comes out pretty close. The reason it's not is that accurate number 5, if you look down here, is a low burn rate, inconsistent combustion, and increased air rate of the simulation is very likely. Now, I didn't get a very good burn. I could tell. And so a lot of my powder was, you got your burn rates, your percents here. Burn propellant is 25% not burnt. That can go up. If it goes up or down at all, it's not working. But this is going to tell me that the 850 feet per second I got out of the accurate number 5 was nowhere near barrel pressure that I would need to be concerned about. So let's jump up to the 7.9. 7.9. 7.9 says I should have had really, really high pressures, just bordering a plus P, and running at about 1,168 feet, 7 feet per second. I measured 950. A little closer. The more powder I put in there, the more you're going to get a burn. We're getting up there into 90 now. So I ended up with 950. So let's go to 8.4. Now I used 8.4 grains of accurate number 5 in a 230 grain bullet. Now it's showing that I should reach 1,211 feet per second. I ended up with 1,050. So 160 feet per second slower. That tells me that my barrel pressures are down, I'd say, in this range, 13,000 feet per second, or 13,000 PSI. So I'm still in a safe range. Let's go ahead and go to the long shot. Let's see what the long shot does. long shot. Whoops. Here's our long shot. Long shot is a much better powder. I liked the way it burned in there. And let's do a 6.5 grains. All right, 6.5 grains. It tells me I should be at about 1,035 feet per second, ideally. I ended up with an average around 940 feet per second. So 90 feet per second off, that tells me my barrel pressures were in the range of, about 8,000 PSI on a 16.25 inch barrel. So let's bring it up a little further to 6.8. 6.8. 6.8 tells me I should be around 1,058 feet per second. I ended up with 970s, about 980 average, up from about 950. Let's go to the 7.4 grains I had. 7.4 grains will give me 1,100 feet per second. And that is just about where I got. I averaged 1,090. So it got very close. Once I got more powder in there, you can see burnt propellant went up to about 100%. So that is a good amount. Now I could bump that up a little bit, but I was liking that load. I'm probably, like I said, going to do about 7.4. Let's go look at the back to the back to the accurate number 5. Accurate number 5. My last load that I did was 8.4 grains. All right. I ended up with 1,030 feet per second. Inconsistent powder. Didn't like it, so I am going to switch to long shot. Let's see what we can develop with this bullet, with this barrel. Let's get on down. Let's actually try accurate number 7. All right, so this is even slower. 9 is a little faster than 7. It's a little off from the trend, but let's see what I'll put in there for starting at 10.5 grains. 10.5 grains, very safe barrel pressures. I'm going to have about 1,600, 1,700 PSI at the Barrett bullet exit. Peak is at 1 inch bullet travel. So will that bolt be moving back by the time no, it will not be moving back. If you've taken apart the LC Carbine, it's a 2-part bolt. It's very, very heavy. It's 3 or 4 times the weight of the slide on a 1911. Spring pressure is about the same. It's going to hold that case in that barrel long after that bullet's left. So let's see what we're going to get. We're going to get a muzzle velocity of about 1,230. The burnt propellant is pretty low. So what I'll do is I'd probably walk it up a little bit. I'd probably get to there. But as you can see, something to play around with. Like to see what I get out of there. We're talking up there at 357, beginning of 44 Magnum energies. Let's take a peek at the 185 grain. Let's see, we had the 185 grain right here. It was actually the FTX, but FTP, XTP is about the same. Now we did a load that was long shot, 8.5 grains. So let's switch on down here to the long shot. That is Hodgdon. Long shot. And we did 6 or 8.5. 8.5. And we got speeds of 1,300 feet per second. That is exactly what I ended up with. I got between 1267 and 1325. Good burn rate, 678 foot-pounds of energy. That is pretty stout. I think that'll be a good round. On the targets, it shot 1-inch droop at 50 yards. My subsonic hollow point, 230 grains, they were a 3-inch group at 50. Wasn't impressed, so I gotta dial that in a little bit. I'll find the amount of powder and a better powder to work with that. So what else did we want to look at here? I think that's about it. Let's see what that will do. What were we going to look at? Let's see what it would have done through a 3.3-inch barrel. All right, so that slowed it down to 853 per second. It pretty much halved our energy. That's out of the XD, and I got 9. Let's see what we'll get out of the 5-inch barrel. I ended up with 950 feet per second out of my 1911, and sure enough, there it is right there with the air in there. I only shot a couple. I didn't get those on camera. So this software is very, very accurate. The extents, this gentleman that created it, I believe he's from Switzerland. I'm not sure. Sweden. He did an enormous amount of work on this over the years. He passed away a couple of years ago. So any powders past 2 years ago, any of these new ones, you're not going to find on this. But I started using this just recently, and I had cross-referenced all my loads to this. When you are running an efficient powder, clearly that accurate number 5 down in 6.6 grains, the speeds were way slower than what this program, but it does tell you when you get down into inefficient burn rates, you're going to have things go way off. But it can tell you, if you know the speed that your bullet left the barrel, you know the length of your barrel and the powder you put it in there, you can tell whether you're reaching these pressures where you need to be concerned. So that's kind of where I did it. Chronograph will tell you everything. You're not going to be up there at 18,000 psi and your bullet leaving the barrel at 900 feet per second. It just doesn't work that way. So it is something that you can use as a litmus to make sure you're safe. You can play around with it. I start with a real low, of course, start with a lower amount of powder, and I'm going to work it up. I'm going to go ahead and try that with the accurate number 7. I'll try it with the accurate number 9. I'll bump up the long shot a little bit. Now I want to see how fast I can put the 280 or 230 grain hollow point down this barrel. I want to see if I can break 1,200 feet per second. So that's going to be on the next video. This was my first video, as you can see. Go ahead and rip me apart down there in the comments. But next we're going to start. My next video is going to be in about a month or 2, and it should be bringing this Ruger, its accuracy down, sighted in for 4 inches low at 100, about 3 inches high at 50, and hunting season starts the 1st of this November. I got a camera for my gun. Hopefully, I will get a deer for you guys, and I will post that up, and we'll see how lethal this will be. Until then, I'll see you guys later.